Great. So today we are going to learn about wireframes. Have any of you heard of wireframes before? Okay, so I presume none of you have heard of wireframes before. Well, you take the human body. Okay, as I initially said in our introduction to UI UX session, if I see you Wednesday, I see your beautiful face, your beautiful features of your face, your mouth, your ears, your beautiful body shape, the color of your skin, the color of your hair, and all that. All this beauty can't function without your bones holding your flesh together. I see the flesh, but then there is something behind the flesh that gives your flesh its form and its shape so that I can see that Wednesday is very, very beautiful. That is what we called wireframes. So wireframes is just literally the skeleton of our digital products in short and in simple. So today we are going to learn about what wireframes are, the types of wireframes we have, why we should always start with a low fidelity wireframe. We're going to learn about the tools that we can use specifically for our low fidelity wireframe and more. And we're going to have a practical session, but I'm hoping time doesn't beat us with that. So let's just get right into it. So, just as we always do, a little quote from UX journals. Wireframes are where ideas begin to breathe. Simple lines shaping meaningful experiences. We take the human body analogy as I said earlier. We have your individual bones. If right now your bone for your index finger is to be missing, you realize that the skin is just going to be, excuse to say, useless because not going to have any beauty nor function. You per se, you wouldn't even love to interact with it. If you are greeting someone, it would be the person would find it very uncomfortable to greet you because he has seen that there's a deformity there's a deformity on your hand. That is what wireframes help us prevent. Wireframes help us to build the structure of our digital product before we even bring it to life for people to test it. So, what is a wireframe? Please, in case you can't hear me, prompt me so that I could iterate what I am talking about. Okay. All right. Okay, so as I was saying, a wireframe is a basic visual guide that represents the skeleton of a website or an application. As I said earlier with the body analogy, it is a blueprint before the construction begins. The last time I also mentioned, right now I have a piece of land. I want to build a house, not just any house, but a modern tech story building home that would host my family, will host my friends, and I could have a lot of activities in the house, all in the house. So that means I demand a lot of space for specific things I want to do. Now, I can't draw out the plan. Do I have the picture of how I want my house to look? That is where I go to the architect. Now, the architect takes my idea and he pens it down and draws down a structure for the mason and the workers to be able to divide the line, cut out the spaces that need to be cut out for the foundation for the my home to be set before they uproot the final building on it. Here in this case, you are playing the role of the architect. You decide how the building is going to look like on the floor plan, which whatever goes here, and that for the client who has brought their idea to you to come to life. So, wireframes help designers visualize content structure and functionality before focusing on the aesthetics. When you talk about the aesthetics, it's just the beauty of it, the colors, and everything. So, wireframing is a very crucial thing to take notice of in the design process, because if you don't give much attention to it, you would fail at the latter part and you realize that you wasted a lot of time, wasted a lot of energy, and the product wouldn't solve the problem that you want it to solve on the market. People wouldn't like it. So it focuses on the structure, layout of the app or the website. It Here we utilize simple blocks. When we talk about blocks, the shapes and labels, no colors or intricate details, no colors or specific details on it. We'll learn more about that when you learn the types of wireframing. Then the main purpose of wireframing is to ensure that the user experience and the interaction flow it is on point before we actually build the actual system. Now let's get to the types of wireframes. Alright. Let's look at the types of wireframes. So we have three main types of wireframes. We have the low fidelity wireframe, the mid fidelity wireframe, and the high fidelity wireframe. Let's dive a bit deeper. When we talk about low fidelity wireframes, we're just talking about us putting our creativity on paper. Here in this case, that's why we have the sketchbook we have introduced to help put your ideas together. Now you are working on the WhatsApp features that you want to bring. You have to draw out how it is going to look like on the screen. You don't just get up and then go to Figma and make the designs out of the blue. So low fidelity wireframe is just basically pen designs made with pencil and paper. As you see in the image here, it's it's a rough sketch. Here you don't really need to be a professional artist to be able to like draw to the maximum satisfaction. It is done with pen and paper, and it is just for you to explore your ideas, creativity before you actually get into designing. So we will do this for our mini projects before we move on to the mid fidelity. I really wish I could turn on my camera and show you how to do it, but then I would share a resource on it for you to gain more understanding on that. Then we talk about the mid fidelity wireframes. Now we look at the first screens. We were able to draw out our welcome screen. We normally call it the splash screen, the sign in, the sign up, where the user is going to input their details and all of that. Now that we've got a clear picture of this, now we can have confidence and head to Figma and actually draw out this designs that we put on paper with the digital tool, which is Figma. So mid fidelity wireframes, they are basically done in grayscale. When you talk about grayscale, it's just black and white. Black and white, just like the low fidelity. But here is the case, we don't draw it with paper and pen. We actually draw it in design. We actually design it in Figma. We would walk you through how to do all of these if time permits us. So here, the mid-fidelity wireframes are more structured. They include real text, elements like buttons, blocks. You can add image icons that represent the image you want to put there and all of that. In this case, we've been able to get a clear picture of how we want the design to look on paper and pencil. So now we can draw it out in Figma to show our team about this is the particular feature I was talking about, and this is how it's going to look like on the WhatsApp reels. So here, if there's any iterations, when I talk about iterations, if there's any like redesigns to be made on it, you can easily make it here before you actually do the final design, which is the high fidelity. So the mid fidelity is used for refining your layout and then your user flow. At the low fidelity wireframing stage and then the mid fidelity wireframing stage, if you make mistakes, you can easily rectify. But at the high fidelity, which is the final and actual design, and just in case it is implemented, it takes much time and energy to for you to rectify the mistakes. I encountered this week. We had our project and we presented it. We did a low fidelity, high fidelity stage and everything. But then on the high fidelity, we had to, after testing our product, we got some feedback from our stakeholders. So we had to come and redesign the whole, most of the things. In this case, it took a lot of time. We are even still working on this currently. So that is why I advise, if you are starting out a project, even if there's not much time, start with low fidelity, draw it out on paper. Once you have a clear picture of it, now you can turn it to mid fidelity, show it to your stakeholders, and once you get their feedback, then you can do the high fidelity. In my case, when we did the mid fidelity, we couldn't get the stakeholders to be able to test the black and white grayscale design that we've made because of their time. So we had to jump right to make the high fidelity for the deadlines that we had to meet. And now it cost us a redesign process. So you see what I mean by paying much attention to it. Now let's head to the high fidelity wireframes. So the high fidelity wireframe is literally the final product. The final product is as close to the final product, except that maybe after usability testing, you have to make a few changes, and then that wouldn't really affect it. But it is often the clickable and prototyped version of your product that you can use for testing. Sorry, as I said earlier, the one we used for testing was the actual design. They interacted with it, they saw the colors, they clicked on the buttons, they were able to do basic things on the platform. And on the high fidelity wireframe, here it involves detailed UI elements, like it is the actual thing. So if you are looking at boats, if you are designing a particular screen, all the elements that you see there, the specific color for this text, the button, this elements, the illustration you are even seeing here, it's it does make it look like the actual design. So that is your high fidelity Wi-Fi. So this is how it looks like. It's a process. You start from this miniature sketch here. Now you have a clear picture of how it's going to look like, so you can turn it into your mid fidelity with simple blocks in Figma. These are just rectangle. These are just this is a rectangle. These are just rectangles also drawn here, circles and all that. If you see something like this, it is a mid fidelity. If you see something drawn out with pencil like this, it's a low fidelity. Now, this is our low fidelity and mid fidelity turned into the actual thing that the users are going to interact with, the information they need to see about the platform to perform a specific function on it. So this is a very clear picture of all the wireframes here.
Please use that class being recorded.
Yes, please, it's being recorded. Thank you for reminding me. Great. Okay. So now, why should we even start with the low fidelity wireframe? With all that I've said, I would want one person to just answer that question for me. Why should we even start with low fidelity wireframe? Anyone can grab the mic to speak. Or I should start mentioning names. Okay. Dave could. How are you doing?
Hello. Yeah, I didn't join the class early. Oh. My phone went off. I just got home and put it on charge.
All right. That
Yeah,
is fine. I'm hoping you could recap it later on our YouTube
yeah,
channel.
YouTube channel. Yeah,
Great.
since it's recorded, I'll take it from there.
All right, great. Adum, would you like to take the question for us?
Okay. So I think why we should start from the low to the high fidelity is from the low fidelity, it gives you the overall image of what you are planning to do. So it's like you have a layout, a plan of how you want to design your product or the particular website. So it's like when you skip the plan now, and you might think it's in your head, so you know what you are doing. Maybe with time, who knows? You might miss out a small detail, and assuming you ignore the low, the mid, and you move on to the high. So, as you said, you ignored the low, and you missed out a small detail. Meaning you have to restart everything back. So at least it helps you to, apart from saving you time and resources, it gives you a perspective on what you are doing.
Yes, exactly as we said earlier. So, low fidelity, why should we even start with it? First off, it saves us time and it helps us build rapid designs without investing so much time and resources in it. And it also allows for us to explore multiple ways of how the feature should be designed. Because when you make a mistake on the paper, you can easily clean it up and then just fix it. It doesn't really demand much time than when it is actually the high fidelity, when you have to redesign the whole screens, changing the wording and everything. Sometimes it takes you up to hours of redesigning. If you start with low fidelity, it saves you all the stress and wahala, and it helps you explore the different ways you can present your idea on the screen. It also encourages ideas over perfection. When you get to the high fidelity stage, it's all about perfection. The thing should look great, it should function great for the users to be able to find value in it. But then in the low fidelity, every idea is good, no idea is useless, because sometimes you may be thinking about this particular idea that you had in mind and most of the but that is the actual idea that will solve the problem to its best. So at this stage it helps us utilize every single idea that comes in mind. It fosters creativity and free thinking without prioritizing pixel perfect designs. That's the aesthetics. Then it also helps us to easily collaborate on them. So it helps make the designs accessible for team discussions, clients' feedback, and facilitate inclusive design. So, as I said earlier, if I and my team if we got ample time to test the mid fidelity design that we made for our project with our stakeholders, it would have saved us a lot of time that we now have to sit and redesign the screens based on their feedback. So in this case, if you draw out your design on paper and you show it to them, at the very onset, they are included in the design process. That's what we call inclusive design. They are included at every stage. So even if they have an idea or you're having a conversation with them and they say something, you can even pick something from there and use it as a creative idea to make the feature very better. So it helps us include stakeholders, the team members, and all that right from the onset. Then it also helps us provide effortless modification at a go, saving us time. And as I said earlier, on pen and paper, you can easily clean it and really like draw it again. It's not really much stress. Then, at a long run, it helps us spot UX issues very fast. If we were able to test out our low fidelity and mid fidelity with our stakeholders when we did it, I don't think that the problems that we have to fix now or the new features that we have to add now, it would have been the issue, because right from the onset, if they saw the design on paper and even on their screen as a mid fidelity, they would have said that, oh, do this way. I think that this should be this way, this one, before we actually design the high fidelity. So that is what we're talking about. It helps us spot UX issues very fast, saving us time. Now, I'm gonna pause here and I would wait for just one question before we continue. If there's not going to be any question, I would love to use this session for our practical session to walk you guys through Figma for in preparation for our next lesson. So if you have a question, you could grab the mic to ask your question. No question. Hello. Ho, ho. Okay. So I presume you all understood it. The way you're not asking any question. Okay, great. So let me share the screen here. Let me just begin our practical session. Give me a second. Share the screen. Okay, share the screen. Yeah, great. Kindly confirm if you can see my web browser.
Yes, please, I can see it.
Great.
Please, I can't see it.
Oh, should be your network. Can you see it now? Wednesday, is it better now?
No, I think it's now loading.
Oh, alright, sorry. Let me know if it comes.
Still loading.
Alright.
It says have been disconnected.
Uh, Sorry. Great. Okay, so while your screen loads, I'm just gonna walk us through. It's in?
I'm in. Yes, please.
Great. So, well, so as we said earlier, Figma is the platform we are going to use for almost everything that we will design. So, Figma is a digital designing platform that most designers love to use because it is easy for any beginner to pick up. The tools are quite familiar if you have one way or the other interacted with um, digital products that are used for creating digital designs like flyers, illustrations, and all of that. So, I'm going to walk you through how you can download Figma and get it set up for our next session. So, you head on to Figma download for PC. Once you type it here, you click the first link. It takes you to the download page straight. But either way, you can just click here, just take a stroll to learn more about Figma, to just have an overview of what Figma is and the benefits of using Figma as a designer. Once you are done reading here, you can here is it the another tools? I'm coming to the tools. No. Okay. Yeah. See if it will take me there. Oh no. So, my dear ladies and gentlemen, so you automatically type Figma download for PC. It'll take you straight to the download page straight away. Then now you can download it for your mobile app just for you to view your prototypes and have a feel of it, how it's going to look like when someone is interacting with your product. But I would want you to focus on downloading it as um a desktop app for your Mac OS if you are using a Mac product, an Apple product, or if you're using Windows like me, you click on desktop app for Windows, it automatically starts downloading it for you. Once it's done downloading, you can install it and it's going to take you through a few processes that we call the onboarding stage. You using your email to sign in, letting Figma know about you and what have you. I'll try and set it up here to walk you through on the plan you should take for this particular project. So we have the free plan, we have the beta plan, and I think there are other plans. The educational plan too is also there, and then the pro. Sorry, so it is free educational plan and then the pro. But for educational purposes, we are going to use the free plan. It has limited features for you, and I think that should be enough. But then remind me later, I would walk you guys through a process to get the best version out of Figma. So I'm just gonna double tap on it to install the setup, then walk you through the onboarding process. Oh, it's 10. Okay, why am I getting that? Sure, because I have already installed Figma, so it's misbehaving like that. Let's see if it works the second time. See, it's opening Figma for me because I've already installed it. But then it's going to take you through it's it's going to take you through a series of processes before you get into Figma. So once you are settled in, please choose the free plan. Okay, choose the free plan for now. Later on, I will show you guys something backstage. So once you are in Figma, you'll be met with this screen as your first screen, which is the home dashboard. Here you get to see your profile. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing that screen. Let me stop sharing and share the actual screen. We will be done by 10:15 latest. Gonna try my possible best. Okay. Oh, so it's the network is just misbehaving a bit. Can we no, not that screen. Please confirm you can see my screen here. Great. Okay,
Mama,
so
please, I can't see your screen.
is it better now?
No,
Can you see it now?
no. It's now loading.
Yeah, should be your network. So whilst it loads, you just let me just brush through. We have 4 minutes more. You'll be met with this page, which is your home dashboard. Here you get to see your account. You can search for anything you want to search for here. Your by project name and by file type. Then here you get to see the current team that you are in, the draft you've created, and if you are looking for anything from the Figma community, you click on template and tools, and then you search for it. Say you're looking for slides. Once you search for it, you'll get a lot of templates here for you to use. For now, I don't want you to focus much more here. We are going to design things from the scratch. So right now, the thing I would want you to focus on when you come to your home page first here, it should be on recent so that you can see what I want you to see here. You'd see a few navigations here. You see design here, fig jam, slides, and then bars. Design is what we are mostly going to be using to make our design. So design is just to create a new design file where it would give you the Figma interface with a few pages for you to design your things from scratch. Fig Jam is something like a whiteboarding. It gives you a whiteboarding canvas where you can put out your ideas together. Say you are designing your user flow, your user persona, and all that. We are going to mostly use FigJam for that. But for the designing, this is the Figma interface. This is the canvas for you to design. This here, this thing is your canvas. On this side panel, we have the layers panel. Just keep it in mind. We'll brush through there when we get to that session. Then this is the properties panel. This is where, when you click on prototype, this is where we connect the screens that we've designed together for us to be able to view it on our laptop, tablet, mobile for people to test. So I'm just giving you a brief overview of how Figma is. Once we get into this particular session where we actually do the designs, we'll be diving much deeper into the specific features of Figma. So an assignment I would want you to do for me, just download Figma, sign up, and just explore around for the meantime while we wait for our next lesson that will take us much deeper into the Figma designing space. Then I think there's great. I don't know why I'm. Hold on. Okay, great. Then let me share the slide. Here. Great. So there's an assignment, and I think I would. Oh, we didn't do the tools. Okay. I've already spoken about the tools already. So, as I said earlier, we have the pen and the paper. You can decide to add rulers for cleaner lines. Those of us who are perfectionists, initially I was doing that, but I stopped because of time. You can use that for your low fidelity wireframe, and we'll be creating a low-fidelity wireframe for our mini project. So kindly watch out for that. And this is our activity that will be our assignment to do. So we are to sketch a login wireframe page. You just add a simple username, input field, password, submit button, and forget link. If you want to add more, you can feel free to do that. So you just sketch it, take a picture of it, and then you submit it as your assignment. So watch out for your email for the assignment for the week, and we will call it a day for today's lesson. I hope you really enjoyed it. Great. Does anybody have a question? Who is that? Okay, does anybody have a question?